Hey, what's going on, guys? It's everyone's favorite anime and manga channel, lOsTAKUS. My name is Eric.
And I'm JT.
Hey, boy.
And for today's chapter of One Piece, we're on chapter 10,051.
Titled The Shogun of Wano, Kozuki Mononosuke. ¿Por qué? We're about to find out.
So the chapter starts off where the last chapter ended in a giant puff of smoke and the people are going crazy. They're like, oh my god, what's happening? Are we
Dragon
gonna
in
die?
the sky. We're gonna die. So they're running away all scared and stuff. And now we have people chasing those scared people, telling them, hey, yo, calm down, bro. Calm down. It's okay.
Tranquilo.
So they're all like, nah, bro, we saw a dragon. He's like, yeah, but it's not Kaido dragon. So there's two dragons?
Puff the magic dragon.
So he tells them like, no, it's okay. Something's going down. Like, let's go back. Stop panicking. Tell everybody to stop panicking. So it pretty much domino effect. Like everybody stops panicking. And then they all start slowly going back, obviously cautiously going back. Some of them are still like Kumurosaki, Denjiro, dead, no Pompadour. What's going on? And then someone starts coming out from the puff of smoke. And then he says like, man, y'all really made a name for yourselves over these past few years. And then he's like, I wonder if the people are gonna even recognize us. And from the smoke, someone comes in with a weird pose, like bam.
It's Kiemon.
And the people are like, bruh, now I thought that person died in that fire of the Odin Castle. Dang. And someone says, are we dead?
Yeah, right? Like that's what the readers are wondering. We
Dead
just saw this
person?
whole-
Dead person?
We just saw this whole fight and Kiemon's not dead.
Yep.
Sad thing.
All of the scabbards just start coming off of the smoke. So last video, I mentioned that all the red scabbards, and logically, Eric said not all of them, but then here, all of them are there. Kind of didn't make sense timeline wise. It doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. No time, not timeline wise, because they were on Onigashima.
Frankie was carrying Kiku, I think, one of them.
And Zoro.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, he's dead. And now he's somehow alive. I'm disgusted.
But then now all of them are here. Injured still, but still they're all here. Bandaged up, scarred up, but they all have new clothes. And I was like, okay. So they had time to change. They had time to get all the injured people there. Does someone have a teleportation jutsu? I don't know, but that was pretty fast. But then I did remember, I'm like, didn't Kinemon have a useless devil fruit about like making clothes?
He does. Kiemon's wardrobe factory. He just passed through this thing and he just boop.
Like for a warrior, what a useless devil fruit. But
Hey, bro,
for
you
presentation, comes in clutch.
You gotta stay looking fly all the time,
Because
bro.
I like Raizo's, his kimono or whatever he was wearing, his sash had like the emblem of the Kozuki clan. So now after this, someone yells out who is going to be a future reporter or a future news anchor guy. He's like, hey man, I feel like something important is happening right now. We got to get those video transponder snails, which in Wano, they call it the light scroll snails. So like, yeah, we got to get this nationwide, bro, because something monumental is happening right now. So they do, because then we get shots of other places throughout Wano, which, if I recall correctly, it's where other
Straw Hats had been, like where
From the
Frankie
beginning.
was. It shows the guy the builder guy, the prison,
Udon, Ringo, because I think Ringo means apple. That's the only place I really remember.
So just everywhere around the country.
So we get, and everybody's all like, what's going on? Hey, something's happened in the capital. Then we cut back to Onigashima, and the first thing we see is like, what? You're Kaido's son? And then Brook with his blade out, he's all like, this war isn't over, get away. Nami and Otam are just coming into the scene, so they don't know what's going on. They're just walking nonchalantly. You could barely see Usopp, but he's right there like hiding behind Frankie like a coward.
That he is.
And then you have Yamato's like trying to calm down. It's like, wait, I'm not your enemy. Like, calm down, guys.
Yo, chill, bro.
It's like, I've heard y'all's exploits for ages. Like, I've been keeping up tabs on y'all and stuff. And I knew your crew was full of weird people. Looking y'all in the flesh, dang, still surprising.
Yeah, Y'all are weird. That's really what she means to say.
So, y'all weird looking.
It's so rude. Like, why would she say that? Like,
but then Frankie or Usopp I feel like this is an Usopp line. He's like, look who's talking. You have horns.
Like, look at the horns on your head. You're weird.
And then Sanji has a little speech bubble that says Kaido's what? It looked like he was about to say something else, but then it cuts back to Yamato saying like, from this day forward, I'm gonna be sailing with y'all guys. She's all like, I go by Kozuki Odin, but you could just call me Yamato.
Which one, bro? Which one you wanted us to call you?
Nami and Usopp freaking out. Frankie's all like, wait, our crew? And then you have Brook and Sanji, hearts on their eyes, jumping for joy. Brook is all like, I approve. And then Sanji's like, not as much as me, bro. I approve more.
I'm surprised that was Brook's first line. I was expecting.
May I see your panty lines?
Pants bisete kudasai.
Meanwhile, Robin's like, amusing. He's like, this is gonna be funny. This is gonna be fun. And then Jinbei, being the real one, like, nah, I don't think so, Chief. I don't think so. Not until Luffy tells us. I don't think so. And Yamato's like, all right. Speaking of Luffy, is he fine?
Nah, he's dead.
And then we get a little panel of Chopper with the blood pack on Luffy, and he's like checking up on him. Zoro's next to him. The goat mink doctor isn't checking up on him. He's like with another page. He's doing something else in the background. So I guess he's all like, Zoro's dead. There's nothing I can do for this body. Bet boy, he dead. Bet boy, he dead. Bet boy,
bro. I just realized, besides being a helmsman, Jinbei's the only one that can save Luffy. He's the only one that has his same blood type.
Oh, is he?
They did a blood transfusion on Luffy and Fishman Island, and nobody had his blood type but Jinbei, and they fused blood.
Plot device.
Hey, bro, he's on the crew for a reason.
And right when Yamato was gonna say something else, it looked like observation hockey. She's like, what the? And she sees some fodder running away, and she's like, oi, come back. No, young master, please, I don't want to be a slave. And the reason he said that, he was looking at Otama. He's like, that child is a witch. And then Usopp brings up a good point. He's like, yeah, speaking of that.
When did they go back to normal?
Oh, that. It's like, oh no, it doesn't last forever. By the next full moon cycle, it'll go away. And then we get a little panel of like her meeting other animals. Like, well, that's how it works with animals.
Yeah.
By the next full moon, so I guess a month?
Yeah.
By the next month, they'll be clean. Sometimes they stay my friends. Other times, they just go away. And then I think that Horsalina, and she calls, didn't she have another name? Because Horsalina, isn't that the name she gave her? Didn't she have like Speed or something? What's her name? The horse lady.
The horse lady. She's like,
Horsala.
She's like, I want to stay with you forever.
No. She says like, I want to serve under you forever.
Serve under you. Yeah.
And then Otama's like, yeah, I want to be with you forever too, but I don't want you to be my servant. I want to think of you more like a mother. It's like, oh.
Right in the Kokoro, the feels.
Remember, we kind of started off with Luffy meeting Otama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just this little girl that was positive throughout the series. The only time we really saw her cry is when Luffy gave her food.
And when he said that Ace died, she cried.
So the very few times we've seen her sad in this desolate wasteland of a very, very rough country to live on. Did anybody really question, like, why are you alone, kid? Because before this, we didn't get an explanation, right? Mm-hmm. Now we get an explanation, bro, and they're
going into her backstory.
But before we get into that, Nami looks surprised because she's also seeing the light scrolls now. She also turns around and was like, oh, what's happening? And then we get a big speech bubble. It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years. Shut up, old man.
Kind of fourth wall breaking. We get a shadow saying, it's been 20 years since my father has died. And then everybody's all like, wait, your father? Kozuki Odin. It's like, wait, Kozuki Odin is your father? Then that could only mean... This speech is super long, bro. I'm gonna try to remember it as much. But he says, y'all did well surviving this harsh winter. But don't worry, the celebration doesn't end with this year's festival. From this day forward, even after the festival, y'all will be able to live freely. Y'all will no longer be charged for clean water. All of those freaking factories that were destroying our land, yeah, abolished, bro. We're gonna destroy those hoes. And slavery, no longer a thing in the land of Wano. Everybody gonna be free. But then if you think about it, what we got at the last panel, Otama used the power. similar to that, to defeat.
To enslave animals to do her bidding. Now, who's truly the villain in this story, huh?
Who has the most?
That is now that you're saying that, man, Otama is a really crappy person. Like, that's wow.
At the very least, Otama's ability was explained, because I don't. Am I dark for thinking that way? Because that literally hit me.
That literally wow.
After he said the line like slavery abolished in this land, I'm like, Otama used the power that kind of ensued that, and they used it against.
Oh, but they were happy when. No, that was the power of the devil. For they're not really happy.
At the very least, Otama's power doesn't last long, and then after that, they have the free will, which.
So she's taking away free will from them.
In a sense.
That's a villain, my guy.
But for a short period of time.
That's a villain, my guy.
But then she becomes friends with them, bro. So is she really a villain?
Maybe. Or she just lets them go.
Well, they have the choice. Will Horsala-chan stay? Like, once that thing goes away, will she really stay? Or will one day she's carrying her on her back and then it breaks free and she's all like this little shit. She takes off real fast. Fucks off.
Oh my god.
I'm scared for Otama now. I hope she lives happily ever after this, but
it's pretty funny.
I worry for her. Anyways, so he's going on about this speech. And when he mentions that those factories will be abolished, that's one thing that is a key point to Otama. Because then Otama's all like, Momokun? And then at this point, we get Otama's backstory. So basically, we get someone saying, which we assume is her parents, because it's her listening in. And so like, oh man, people died in the factory, so I guess we're gonna have to be sent next. Then we get another cutscene, and they're like, there's these people telling Otama, it's like, I don't know how to break it to you. Then we cut to another scene of her in front of her parents' graves, say, mommy, daddy,
they died.
She wasn't crying like very sadly. It looked like to me that she was holding it in.
Yeah.
She was holding it in like a strong child that she is.
That was her villain origin story right there, bro.
And then she was selling hats. Hats for sale. She knitted hats.
Yeah, she's selling hats to try to feed herself and survive.
And her little pet, that little demon dog thing, I forget what it's called. She even mentions it. Koma-chan. I forget. But her little pet and her, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, doggo. No one bought my hats today, but I'm gonna knit some more anyways. Man, what a positive child, bro. And then one rainy day, the Tengu guy, whose name is Tengu Yama, I looked it up. I'm like, what was that Tengu man's name?
Tengu Yama.
So I'll buy one of those hats, little girl. And she's like, who? And he's like, are you an orphan?
Like, that's the first thing.
He's like, yeah. Let me leave you with this tale, little one. Struggle on. Just don't give in for a little bit longer. Soon, the mighty warriors of the Kozuki clan will come back. And then her eyes lit up like, Kozuki? Because it's her first time hearing the name, because their name were basically hushed after that. So for someone as young as her, it's her first time. And then now that all circles back. And then, we get a scene of Otama just running onto Nami's chest and just starts breaking down. Nami was kind of surprised, especially because she hasn't seen this child this emotional, but then she understands and just pats her on the head.
It's okay.
Let it all, child. It's okay. Let it all out.
Yeah, that was super sad. I teared up.
So as Otama's crying on Nami's chest, she also remembers when Luffy gave her, what was it, a rice bowl? I think, right? And she was crying. And Luffy tells her like, hey, don't celebrate yet, Otama. This ain't the time to celebrate. By the time we leave this land, you're going to be filled up whenever you want. You're going to have as much as you want to eat.
He kept his promise, my guys.
And while that's happening, we get more little speech bubbles of the light scroll snails saying that the tyranny of Orochi is done. The menace that is Kaido is no longer here. They are gone for good. Cuts back, and now the smoke has cleared, and all we see is a silhouette of this figure with a sword up in the air, saying that the beast pirates are done. They are defeated. They're gone for this land for good. Then he says, our ninja, mink, samurai, and pirate alliance. That's a long ass alliance name. couldn't come up with something better, have vanquished them. We came in, we took care of it, no gotta worry about it. And then there's people who are like, that bad Orochi's gone. And then everybody just starts erupting.
They're like,
celebrating.
Yeah, they did it.
He also mentions, we will never forget those that paved the way. And then we get a shot of Carrot. Pedro-san.
Oh, that's why.
That's why. Did you forget that?
Yeah, that boy committed suicide and just
to give them a chance, bro.
blew
Since
himself up
Since Whole Cake Island, right? This whole thing has been leading up since back then.
5 years ago.
Carrot has been with us that long, bro. And she will continue to be.
Nope. Goodbye. Her journey ends here.
Looking at Kinemon and he's like, bruh, what else? I don't know what to say. He's all shaking because you see him trembling.
Yeah. It's as they say, fake it till you make it.
Okay. And then he looks at the people. I'm like, they're all celebrating, right? So seeing everybody happy, he's like, all right, screw it. So he's all like, my father gave me the name that means second to none, bro. Does it? Because Mononosuke sound weak, but if that's what it translates to, it's pretty dope. Second to none, bro. I take no backseats for no one. And then he says that I'm going to live up to that name as one to lead this land to a better future. His speech is super long, but he's all like, but my peoples, I'm gonna need y'all's strength to be able to accomplish that. And he's all like, I've transcended 20 years to get to this place, to get to this point, my guys.
He didn't time. Well, he time traveled.
They don't know that, but then not only did he time travel, he time forwarded with the special power of a devil fruit. At this point, we get the big reveal. We get a wide shot of how a full-grown 28-year-old Mononosuke looks like. It says, from this point forward, Wano will be led by me, Kozuki Mononosuke. And tears everywhere.
Yeah, goes crazy, and he looks super dope. He looks really cool.
Hey, credit to Kinemon.
Oh, Kinemon.
His clothes, bro.
His garb. He's just like.
Because I was thinking, I'm like,
fly as shit. He's just like, bro, yo, like.
When Shinobu used her devil fruit power on him, I'm pretty sure he had no clothes. I'm pretty sure he was naked.
Yeah.
And she cried because you look like just like your dad. A lie. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't look a lot like
he looks
his dad.
cooler than his dad.
He definitely looks cooler. Like, Oda came in hard with the design for Momonosuke. I was like, bruh, like, you went from a snotty little nosed brat kid to this guy. I'm like, that's dope. Like, he did a Gon, except he didn't have any powers to lose to begin with. So that design is fire. Like, he had the long hair,
sash and everything,
bro. Like that. Yeah, he looked clean AF. Like, good job, Oda. Good job, bro.
Hiyori, she had that cute face that she's only made like once or twice. Yeah, that sucking in the face thing. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just did it. People were like, don't ever do that again, Aaron. That looked disgusting. Well, I'm gonna do it again.
And then she goes and hugs her brother. Now she's tiny. He is a giant now.
He is giant compared to her. Like, that boy big.
Well,
it is
Odin was,
so
yeah. Odin was
really
also
big, so.
pretty big. So
one of the things that we had talked about with that boy is that Momonosuke has a more modern look compared to Odin. Odin was from like the era before, so that's why maybe he looked weirder, like weirdly drawn. He had that weird hair, so. But yeah, he was still a Chad. He was still cool AF though.
Yeah, I like that. There was a very distinct difference between him and Odin. So it's not like, oh look, he looks like a younger version of his dad. Nah. He completely doesn't look like his dad. I would say that his mom had the more dominant genes in here.
Surprisingly.
He has a little speech in his head where he's all like, Mom, Dad, I will continue along the path that y'all carved. And then there's a big speech bubble with the whole of Wano, kind of like what we saw from the beginning of Wano when it was introduced.
Yeah. And
there's a few speech bubbles that big. It says, my apologies for the delay. The true shogun of Wano has returned. Mononosuke Kozuki, the true shogun of Wano. And then we get a quick, this is going to be a cool transition in the anime where it has flowers, sakuras flowing in the air, and a little editor's bubble or narrator where it says, in this new sky where the sakuras fly freely, in this new land where warriors can lay down their blades, this is the beginning of the tale of Mononosuke Kozuki. This man will be known as one of the greatest leaders of Wano.
It was a really good it was a really good chapter. Now we know, like, hey, bro, it's done. Like, this is it. Like, people who were expecting some kind of big comeback,
plot twist.
Me. I was really, really disappointed in the fact that not one of the scabbards died. Well, one of the scabbards did die. Kanjuro.
Oh,
The freaking traitor. The traitor died.
Clown.
The main reason that I didn't like it is because this whole time they've been fighting Kaido, and they were telling them, the dialogue was, give me my warrior's death, give me my place to die. I've been waiting so long to beat this guy and finally die. Like, why would you make that the dialogue yet have none of them die? Like, that to me was like the thing that I was just like, why? Like, I don't understand.
What was that episode 10-15? Yeah, where they were all laid down, they all looked dead.
They all looked really
when
good.
I saw that, because I rarely watch the anime, right? When I saw that episode and Kinemon was like, ugh, he's more brutally beaten than he was in the manga.
He was. I was just like, bro, like,
And
this man.
hearing it, I was like, you sound like you're at death's door, but no, there's a lot of things that are gonna happen after that, and they still don't die. Okay, so I kind of agree and disagree with you. The agreeing part is, for me, the one that really should have died was Kiku.
Kiku, he really should have died. I'm like, bro, like, you were supposed to die.
But I don't ever feel disappointed in these One Piece arcs because almost nobody ever dies, especially if they're gonna have an important role to play in later on. Like, I was surprised if Kinemon was gonna die, because who's gonna be like the father figure or like the person looking after Mononosuke?
He's his own father figure now. Look at that man, bro.
With the 8-year-old's mind? No, I don't think so.
Main character energy, bro.
We got confirmed that it said like one day that he will be known as one of the greatest leaders, and that's all because of Kinemon. But ever since Alabasta, when that freaking bird went boom, Pale did not die, and I was all like, no, bird, no, that was a big boom, bird. And this is before we found out that Zoans are very, very resilient. But still, at that time, I was all like, no, bird. That was wrong, bird. And then Pedro, and I'm like, Pedro's not dead. And then Carrot and everybody was crying, and I was like, okay, Oda, you inconsistent man.
For real, like, yet you have Pedro die for this stuff, bro. Like, come on, bro.
His death was important to Carrot, which is why her journey continues.
Nah, her journey ends.
So many fights in this, so many different cuts from Kaido versus Luffy. I cannot imagine the next battle because it's gonna be way more hectic and bigger.
Yeah, like,
it's gonna take years. Oda said years ago, before the pandemic, that I feel like the story has 5 years left. He a liar. Yeah,
he a liar, bro. The way that he's pacing the story, 5 years, bro. We've been in 103. Like, no.
And I think he said this before the pandemic. So like 2019, 2018. He mentioned that in an interview.
In 19, 20.
Next year, bro. One Piece is done next year, fellas.
4 years, bro. We've been in Wano for 4 years. It started in 2018. Wano started in 2018, my guys. We've been here for
Someone mentioned it was like 1,046 days or something.
Wano is already the longest arc,
so we had a nice narrator closing dialogue at the end. What do you think? Do you think this is a good closing for the Wano arc, or just a little bit more?
I think this would be a beautiful closing. Like, I honestly think it would be a beautiful closing, but I think there's more. Like, I think at least next chapter, something.
We're gonna get like a little funny scenes, probably, of maybe like Hiyori was kind of worried about Zoro, so seeing Zoro dead, she's gonna freak out. Or maybe the Marines are in the borders right now and they're trying to get in. And they're like, here we come, kids. And then all of a sudden you see the Straw Hat Pirate Alliance just coming in like, yeah, Luffy. Bartolomeo's pedaling by himself in the water.
It's just Bartolomeo, bro, because he's like, he's almost dead, bro.
Like, as the Marines are trying to cross over, they just see a barrier just boom, blocks their path.
That would just bam, bro. That would be great, because like that is where the first time that we saw his.
I don't see how they don't show up because of what happened with Luffy. And if they're gonna be there for a few days, they're gonna be in Wano for a few days, right?
like they always do afterwards. But
yeah, because they got to recuperate. This was hard, tough battle.
Yeah, and Luffy still has to throw his giant party after this because he's like, hey, bro, we're gonna get lit after this like we always do. So because it had the narration at the end, I feel next chapter goes to something else.
Yeah, it just jumps to something else, right?
And then after that, it goes back to Wano. So
yeah,
that
would be fun.
That's my prediction for the next chapter.
Unless like something fun happens, something lighthearted happens in the next chapter for Wano.
Yeah, something lighthearted, freaking Kaido getting up and
they're floating in the sky and they land on Skypiea.
Why would they be floating in the sky?
Because they got blown up by a volcano. A volcano erupted. Pew!
I don't think they're dead though.
No, they're not dead. They're not dead. They're monsters.
They're bakemonos. We hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, guys, out.